You know, folks, it's I mentioned earlier how the potential for Disney to revive the Disney Afternoon franchise is a gold mine just waiting to happen. They have a gold mine on their hands to do direct-to-video animated movies. Either they be continuations, whether they be anything. Adaptions, continuations, something to wet your whistle for potential, for potential live action adaptations down the line. Or live action CGI hybrid adaptations. For whatever wets your whistle. But, with all this talk, with all this talk out there of separate, basically with all this talk of a lot of Hollywood studios and companies taking all these franchises and saying, hey, we're going to follow the same suit that Marvel set, and let's go and do a cinematic universe. Basically create films and stuff that connect together. Here's a potential question. Is obviously out there. Fans like to theorize that there's connections. There is connections, if you will. There is connections, if you will, within the Disney feature films, especially with the princesses, especially with stories. We've heard the theories. We've heard recent theories of how Little Mermaid could be connected to Tangled and thus connected to Frozen and vice versa. We have heard these kind of theories. But the question is, with those theories out there, folks, here's the question. Could a potential Disney cinematic universe be possible? Like I said, with the Disney Afternoon, they have a gold mine on their hand. And with a gold mine on their hand, the potential is there. I've talked about how they could adapt certain story arcs from comic books, like what Boom Studios did with Rescue Rangers and Darkwing Duck, how they can do things beyond belief. But what if Disney also has a gold mine on their hand? A gold mine known as a cinematic universe. A gold mine known as a cinematic universe of their own. Think about it. A lot of people like to connect all these different classic movies that they have done. Even movies that are 20-something years old, they like to connect them to movies of the present day. And thus, in a sense, not just theorize what connections could be, but kind of come out and say that perhaps they too are a cinematic universe that can connect with each other. Some might say that the seeds were planted with a show like House of Mouse that the potential is there to do it. But we have not seen that potential yet. We have not seen that potential. But here's what I think could happen. Disney, I believe, should toss their name into the hat and say, we want a part of that cinematic universe. We want a part of it. We want to go and do things that have not been done yet. We want to connect our movies with each other. I mean, you have these little Easter eggs that get thrown in every now and then. Every now and then you have these little Easter eggs. But why? You have rare Easter eggs of characters from other films connecting with each other, or just cameoing by just walking across in crowds. So the question is, could a cinematic universe be possible? I think it is. I think in a sense a Disney cinematic universe, especially based around their classic films, is possible. I think it's possible. I really do. I think the possibility is there. But for Disney, they need to capitalize on it. They need to say that we're going to go in that direction. But you know what? They don't always have to go with just that. You see, like I said, with the Disney Afternoon, they have potential there too. Not just with direct-to-video films and standalone films and stuff like that. I'm talking connection. Let's take a look at one of the most infamous stories that they did. One of the more infamous stories that they did. Let's take a look at Legend of the Chaos God. This was one of the big final Disney Afternoon adventures published in Disney's Adventures magazine. And yet, it has never gotten a graphic novel version, although people would love to see it. It has been published online. It's been not published online, but it's been put online by various fans, complete and ready to read. And in a sense, and by reading it, you kind of get a sense that there's a cinematic universe vibe there, because each story interconnects, interwoves into the next. It connects one after the other. Tailspin begins it off. Then it moves on to Rescue Rangers. Then it moves on to Goof Troop. Then it moves on to DuckTales, and then finally Darkwing Duck. The connection was unreal. And think about it. Something like that, very similar to what you could get with very similar to what you got in a build to the first Avengers movie. Every movie that was done was building towards the Avengers. And the Avengers turned out to be a huge deal. Turned out to be a very, very huge deal. So the question is, could Disney do that with their properties in the future, whether it's animated or CGI feature films, or could they do it with the Disney Afternoon? Because think about it. Rescue Rangers could be the start of a Disney Cinematic Universe via Disney Afternoon franchise. They could do it there. And then they could go off and have some kind of connection, cliffhanger at the end of that film that leads us or gives us an idea of what we'll get in another Disney Afternoon inspired film. Like, let's say, maybe do a Tailspin one or a Gargoyles one. Give us some kind of idea. So that, to me, shows you the possibilities of what Disney could do with their own cinematic universe. It's possible. And heck, you can even do a cinematic universe with your established characters of Mickey and Minnie in their own film. Then one with Donald in his own film. Put Goofy in another film if you have to connect it. And the list could go on. But Disney getting their own cinematic universe to ride along that of Marvel's, to ride along that of what DC's trying to do now, what Star Wars is trying to do, what Transformers franchise is trying to do. I mean, the possibilities are endless. And the possibilities are there. I mean, think about it. They're doing all these live action remakes of Cinderella, Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast. This could be the cinematic universe. And it could start with Beauty and the Beast. It could start there. Did it start with Cinderella? I don't think so. But it could start with Beauty and the Beast. It could be something people can enjoy and watch. The possibility is there. Once Upon a Time proves interaction by different fictional characters throughout in one series can help, can work. And you know what? I think it will. The House of Mouse, like I said, was a great catalyst to kind of give you, was a great catalyst and foundation to give you an idea of what this could be like. But when I talk cinematic universe, I'm talking the fact that you could take some characters and spin them off into their own films. I mean, think about it. You do a Rescue Ranger film, make it part of a Disney Cinematic Universe. You could do a spin-off film for Gadget. You can do a spin-off film for Chip and Dale themselves. Tailspin, the same thing. Connected somehow with Rescue Rangers, and you could do a spin-off for Kid Cloud Kicker, maybe a spin-off with Baloo. Heck, even give Rebecca a spin-off. It would work. Darkwing Duck's another one. Bonkers, well, maybe's another one. Gargoyles, of course, is a big one. But the possibilities are endless, and I think there is so much that Disney can do. Like I said in the other video, I talked about the Disney Afternoon is a gold mine for them to do direct-to-video animated films. The properties that they got right now, from the Disney Afternoon itself to the live-action remakes of some of the animated Disney classics, to even the upcoming Disney classics, as well as the classic characters of Mickey, Donald, Goofy, Minnie, Daisy, Clarabelle, you name it. Them in their own films to make a cinematic universe. The possibilities are endless and can be realized. It just takes whoever is in charge over at Disney to wake up and realize that. But I believe it can be done, and it will be done. But let me know what you guys think down below. Do you think Disney can do this? Do you think Disney can create their own cinematic universe instead of relying on the properties that they own, which they let them do their own thing, like Lucasfilms, like Marvel, and they have their own cinematic universes? Do you think, in a sense, Disney can do it with their properties? With the Disney Afternoon, if you will. With the animated classics of fairy tales and things like that. Do you think they could do it with the live-action remakes of those? Do you think they could do it with the established classic characters? Do you think they can get Pixar into the act as well? That would be something huge too. What do you think? Let me know what you guys think down below. Do you think the possibility is there? I believe it is. I believe the possibility is there. It just needs to be realized. And you know what? I think eventually it will be. Let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like. And I am out.